Our third presentation of the session is on Sri Lanka Railway, focusing on the decline of freight movements. Presenter is Mr. Sharic. Floor is yours.
Very good morning to you all. To introduce myself, I am Sabeen Sharic. I am a lecturer here in KDU. So I used to read some articles to prepare my lectures. So when I was preparing my lecture on public transportation, I was going through the draft National Transport Policy developed by National Transport Commission 2008. So in that there was a criteria, there was a section for current issues that is happening in Sri Lanka in transport section. So I observed that there is a big issue with the Sri Lanka Railways freight movement. So this slide itself can illustrate my research problem. So it says, the source is taken from there, in 1979, out of the total cargo movement that is handled domestically by all modes, 32% of the cargo that was domestically handled was handled by Sri Lanka Railways. But as per to Sri Lanka Railways, in 2010 it has diminished to 0.7%. So out of the total 100% of the domestic cargo that is inlandly transported, Sri Lanka Railway takes only 0.7%. But it was very high on 3 decades ago, and as per to the colonial literature review, Sri Lanka Railway has been the backbone for Sri Lanka's economic development. So I was interested. Why? What may be the determinants? What may be the factors that would have led to these problems? So this is my research problem. So I went back to the history of how they did well, and going back to the history of Sri Lanka Railway, it was specifically started in 1864 to transport freight by the foreign people. Coffee from Kandy to the port city of Colombo. As coffee industry went down, the tea estates came into picture, and the tea industry went expanded, and more collaborations with companies that led for the expansion of Sri Lanka Railway lines. And another 100 miles was developed to transport the labor from Colombo, and for the machinery, that is again comes into freight sector, and the foodstuff again to Kanti. And so the reason why it was developed in west, southwest and northwest coastal areas were again for the purpose of freight, that is to deal with, that is to serve for the coconut industry again. And main lines to Anuradhapura, Kangesunthura and Thalaimanna were developed, and from Thalaimanna to Indian port called, there's an Indian port. From that they wanted to import some rices which is not produced in Sri Lanka, and from that to distribute those things also nationally. Again, when we justify the eastern coast, why eastern coastal railway lines were developed, again to make a commercial city of commercial harbour on natural harbour at Trincomalee, and to come back again to the provincial capital of Bediculo. So these are the purposes of why the railway line was constructed. And again, the Nanoya project was done. So what through the literature, what I could get is Sri Lanka Railway was the backbone for the economic development of the country for 3 decades ago. So why it might have come down? So that's my topic. So this is just my hypothesis. So I don't need to explain that. I can go back. Yeah. So my first, so not mine, this is done with another professor also. So our first hypothesis was lack of custom orientation. So Sri Lanka Railway does not have custom orientation services. Let's say, so this is a government institute, government firm which makes money. Like let's say this is school. The schools doesn't need to make money. It needs to serve the society. But this is public owned. It means it makes money. So there are a lot of competitors for this business. So freight forwarders have come up. Freight forwarders come up with trailers and a lot of custom oriented services.